That's how every episode starts.
Yeah.
With a mighty clap, thunderous even, from me.
I'm just glad it was you.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad you didn't ask me to do that.
No, you would have failed.
I was worried.
For sure. No, Clay can't do it either.
I've seen it.
Clay's claps
I've seen the attempts.
They're atrocious. I don't even know what to say. Welcome to another episode of the Jesus Cartel, home edition.
Say / skull home.
Yeah. This is we did not clean for you. This is what
No,
our
we
house.
did not.
This is what our house looks like. I thought about doing a tour, but I was like, Courtney would murder me.
No,
so no
it's
tour.
Not bad, but it's.
No, I know.
We don't have to have everyone discuss it.
All women are insecure about their homes. I've never met a woman who's just like super proud of every crack and crevice of their home. They're always like, "Oh, the place is a mess." Even the most immaculate houses I ever walk into,
don't pay attention.
Like, "I'm so sorry about my house." I'm like, "Shut up." Like, there's nothing wrong with your house. You know there's nothing wrong with your house.
I see a few videos of them like making fun of women who are like scraping baseboards. Like, oh my God, they're going to know.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like that.
And I dig that. I think that women should be put to the test as often as possible. And so... if you don't
here
know,
we are.
If you don't know, this is my wife, Courtney. And I forget that some of our viewers actually don't know who you are. You did an episode of the Jesus Cartel, one of the first episodes of season 2.
What season are we in now?
This is 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we are in our 3rd year. And so season 2 is when we started having guests. You were one of the first guests that we had, and but you did the episode with Clay. You did not do an episode with me.
That's just now hitting me.
Yeah, you've never been on this show with me before, and so this is the first.
Oh, this is.
And so much like Clay, she doesn't know what we're going to talk about. I've not informed her as to anything that's going to be discussed. But anytime we have a guest, I always try to kind of tether the episode towards some of the things that would be strengths. I still think there are going to be some things that catch you a little off guard.
Me or the viewers?
You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, viewers too, I'm sure.
Cool.
But,
We're on this journey together.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
There we go.
It'll be fine. What's been happening with you lately? Just tell me what's been going on.
Arlen's birthday was yesterday, so we did like a all day thing for her.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do the big party thing, and so we just kind of got together, ate at Nons, slid on the water slide, hung out with some family. Very small, but very, very fun. So.
Yeah. Of our 4 children, our 6-year-old, now 6, is the one that enjoys parties and stuff and gifts the most. And so
yesterday morning, she goes, "One day I'll be 10." I was like, just slow down.
Yeah, take a breath.
It's okay.
You know, enjoy 6.
It's okay.
You know? And so, yeah, she's been geared up about her birthday since February-ish. And so
she's geared up about next year now.
I know.
It's day after.
And the other children are not that way. And so I don't know what happened with Arlen. She's a wonderful kid, but she turned out astronomically different than the others.
She just has a bend towards those things. She just does.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't teach it.
No.
We tried not to teach it.
And you and I are both very much the polar opposite of that. And so we don't really know where she learned it. But, I mean, she's just the sweetest, most lovable thing. She just has different things that excite her and different preferences and stuff like that. And so it's interesting how all the kids being raised in one home can develop sort of their own ways and their own personalities the way that they do. But that one definitely has. So we have been birthday celebrating. I celebrated a birthday. A lot of guys are on me about stuff like that. Because
you don't, or because you speak so adamantly against it.
I don't speak against them. It's fine if that's what you want to do. I just don't.
It's not your deal.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
Your deal is for that to not be your deal.
Right. Let me be. It's okay.
I did
cannot
enjoy
celebrate a birthday and it be all right.
On the recently, so we went to cross camp, and I won't forget Casey King coming behind me, the birthday boy, in the lunchroom where. Everybody, like, it was just really fun to watch him sneak up on you with that.
He did it all day.
All the kids were trying to find a way to embarrass you, and that I tried. I was like, hey, look, if you do this, he's not going to be mad, but there will be consequences.
Sure.
So just be aware that you're not going to know when those are going to happen, and they're going to be really good.
Yeah. And I tend to wait a really long time. And the thing about me when it comes to retaliation is, it's not necessary for me to know. I'm sorry, for you to know that I did it.
Yeah.
So long as you suffer.
Yep.
And so I'll probably wait 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And catch them while this is just a distant memory to them.
Can we just say what a wild attention span for you to like keep that in mind for 3 years?
Yeah. Well, Cooper has suffered greatly in the last year because of something I alleged that he did. And he has no idea any of the things that I've done. And but it's such a thing where he probably doesn't think I actually did anything, but I've actually caused him quite a bit of grief in the last year of his life.
You're the source of his pain.
Like, I'm a source of a decent amount of it. And so, but it's all good. It's all in good fun. I don't get embarrassed. It's just when you engage in this sort of interaction with me and just know
warfare. It's not interaction. It's
going,
warfare.
Like I'm going to continue into unreasonable realms and time frames and expenses that don't bother me. And so, yeah. So that happened. Birthdays yesterday. We've also had sicknesses last night and power outages. And so it's been an unusual week, I'd say.
It's been a big month. Cross camp was this month.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, a lot of counseling, a lot of things like that we've been doing.
I was just about to mention that I watched the episode that y'all did on counseling, and I really enjoyed it because, it hit me when I said, doing Arlen's birthday stuff. It's like, that's been going on with me, but as far as like me personally, the biggest thing I've been delving off into for me that has to deal with me is trying to counsel and do it well.
Yeah.
So as it pertains to just me and what I'm dealing with, counseling is the big one, but there's been plenty of family activity, going on too.
Sure, and it's kind of
school's about to start. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And it's kind of a mixed bag seeing you have to counsel because, for most men, I think to a degree, we try to shield our wives from a lot of the mess, as much of the mess as we can shield you from. We try to shield you from it. And, I've been counseling people for a lot of years, which makes me privy to a lot of information that would very much alter the way that you see people.
I just, in general, assume that you always know a lot more than I know.
Sure.
Sure.
And that's fair.
When you give me advice or when you tell me anything and maybe you don't say, like, hey, don't do this because of X, Y, Z, and, like, name an explicit bad reason why not to. I just assume, like, okay, you know what you're talking about. I'm just going to leave it alone, Yeah.
And one of the things about counseling is when somebody comes and talks to me, they came to talk to me. They didn't come to talk to Courtney. And so if you share something with me, I don't go home and tell my wife.
Well, that's the reason people don't talk to people.
Yeah.
That's the reason people don't talk. It's because, they're worried about the rounds it'll make once the cat's out of the bag. And in Christian circles, it's like, it's one of those things where I don't want to say, yeah, that's correct, and you should be worried about that. But at the same time, I've seen some things mishandled.
Yeah.
So it's not like an altogether unfair thought.
Sure.
Sure. And I'm ashamed to say that for the Christian community, but I mean, it is what it is.
The Christian community has become much more of a social club than an actual follow Jesus thing. And,
very political. If I, then what?
Sure.
How can I, just...
Yeah. And it's not a lot of fun to say, but it's just like, everybody preaches grace and forgiveness till it's time to show both those qualities. Then nobody can seem to find either. And it's like, what happens is you've lost all influence with me because you're not living out the life that you preach. And that's not to say that people don't make errors from time to time. I do not have an issue when somebody makes a mistake. I have an issue when somebody makes a mistake and they will not take accountability for it. They will not take responsibility for it. They will not take ownership of it. We can move forward if you'll take ownership of it, and it can be quite heinous. There are some people really, really close to me that have done some horrendous things that I don't even think about. Right. But I know about them. Right. And I just don't see them that way. I don't consider them that way because they've taken ownership. They've taken accountability. They have repented. It is a very obvious change of direction. I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, but I will take ownership of them. And so we can all move forward because I'm not sitting there pretending like there was no issue. And we see that so much within Christian circles nowadays because you want to be Christian enough to be involved. You want to be Christian enough to be a part of the group, but not so Christian that actually challenges the way that you want to live.
Yeah.
And
it's fine as long as you're pointing it out about everybody else.
Yeah.
When it's time for you to deal with it. Now, well, hang on, but if they wouldn't have, then and it just gets really messy.
Yeah, and it's not good, really it's not messy. Right. And so, but that is one thing I take very seriously. That was something that was communicated to me when I first started doing ministry when I was 19. He said, hey, when somebody counsels with you, they counseled with you. They didn't counsel with your spouse. This is not for her to know.
It was really solid advice.
I wasn't even married.
Yeah.
I
don't even think we had met.
No, we were years from meeting. And so, but that was something that I held on to, and it meant a lot to me, and it was important, and I think that it has influenced our marriage and our relationship greatly, because you don't have to carry a lot of and I don't mean that when people come talk to me, it's burdensome, but you are carrying information that you're not allowed to put out there, you're involved in all of the situations, directly or indirectly, and so multiple
people come tell you something about the same thing, and now
right. So it does have a way.
They know, and you know that they know, but you can't let them know that you know about them.
And you got to pretend it's the first time you've heard about all of it.
It is. It's a lot.
And it can just be heavy from time to time. Not heavy and in like crushing, but it's a lot to consider to try to help paint everybody and push everybody towards Jesus in a situation where nobody's seeing Jesus in the situation.
It's a lot to navigate.
Yeah. And so seeing you kind of delve off into the counseling it's been a bit of a mixed bag for that reason, because on the one hand, it does give you a deeper understanding of what I do. And kind of what my life comprises of. You know that I spend hours a day counseling people. You watch me. A lot of people laugh because of how much I pace.
Yeah.
On the phone at Fresh Start on the sidewalk. Well,
yeah.
My wife watches me pace the driveway.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that I do at work and don't do at home. It's just, this is my life. And is helping people. And so, on the one hand, I do like that you get to see that a little bit and get to have some depth of understanding. But on the other side, it's like, man, I really hate, because I know how much it is difficult to see what could be and then watch people you care about choose the other.
I heard somebody say one time, it's like, you could give people counsel straight from the Lord. You could hear it from Him, say it to them. And they still have to choose.
Yeah.
They've got to pick. You can't make decisions for people. And it's like, and you're right, it is hard to watch people when they're struggling and scrapping to make sense of what to do next. What do I do, and still be truthful and be honest, because it's not fun to tell somebody the truth about the situation.
No.
It's just not fun. But people did it for me. People told me when I was goofing up. And doing stuff that didn't make any sense. And it was hard for me to hear at the time. Probably was even kind of ticked off about it. But, I saw this in, I think it's Hebrew. I don't want to even try to quote the chapter. But I got permission from the Lord to not enjoy discipline from Hebrews. Because it says, nobody enjoys discipline when it's happening. Nobody does. That's where I got to be able to crack down with the kids a little more. Maybe not as much as you would crack down sometimes, but when
easy.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Gentle. I had a hard time. Gentle at heart. but
this will be the last time we do an episode together. You will be disciplined when this ends.
Well, I have permission not to enjoy it from Hebrews, because it says, you don't have to, nobody enjoys it at the time, but the end result is righteousness. You can't judge something for the process. You have to judge it based on the result. And if the process is horrible, but the result is righteousness, trudge on, and if the process is easy, but people are staying the same, you might ought to dig your heels in and be a little more honest about what's going on, and I can deal with being honest with someone's good in mind,
One of the major things that I catch a lot of flack for is my stance on feelings-driven lifestyles.
Yeah.
And what you just said really touches on kind of the heart of why I am the way that I am, because it's not about the process. It's not about how the process makes me feel. It's about what result am I trying to achieve, and am I willing to be disciplined enough to continue the path even though it doesn't feel good, knowing that the result is ultimately the thing that I desire more than however I feel in the midst of that process. Because if you feel good during the process and then you fail in your result, well, then you end up crushed and losing integrity with yourself in the meantime.
Well, you get all the more confused at the end too. Well, I
Sure.
did everything. I did it. No, you didn't.
Yeah. It's like doing a diet
No, you
that
didn't.
you enjoyed and caused you no suffering whatsoever will also reap you no benefit,
Yep.
you know. And so a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I started this new diet and it's just so easy. And it's like, well, I can go ahead and tell you that this is not going to go well. Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
that you're enjoying it, but it's not going to get you what you want. You may get
Yeah.
some result, but you're not going to get the result. You're not going to get what you truly wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And I fear more for what it costs you in the long run in the loss of integrity with yourself. Because when you become somebody who never finishes what they start, dude, it does something to you mentally. And
Well, you feel. Well, I mean, I've been that person, so I can tell you, you feel indefinitely stuck because even when someone does give you good advice, you're like, "Oh, that's good advice, but I'm not going to do it." You know what I'm saying? Like, even if
that's so funny that just to hear it said out loud, though. Yeah, I know.
it is,
It is true.
You know,
Yeah.
you know yourself. And anytime
Sure.
you set any sort of limitation for yourself, and like a day in, half a day in, you're like, "Well, just one, just one more."
Yeah.
Just one more time. Just one more of this. So like, how many more times are we going to say that?
Yeah.
How many more times are you going to say that to yourself?
Sure.
And so when people are giving you this good advice and they're giving you good counsel and you're like, "Oh, that's good. Too bad I can't stick to it. I know me.
Yeah.
I know me." And it's like, even if in your heart you're like, "Man, it'd be cool if I was the person who could handle that." It's just, you feel indefinitely stuck and there's nothing to do at that point. Or it feels like there's nothing to do at that point. But to kick your feet up and just coast and just see how far you can make it.
Yeah.
And what you can make out of what little you can do.
Sure.
And that stinks.
Yeah, it's a slow death for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's no good. You know, a quote that I really enjoyed, I don't remember exactly where it came from. I've heard it from a lot of different sources over the years, but it basically is just, everybody thinks that they're going to rise to the occasion, but the reality is
Ken Kennedy.
that's a place that I've heard it. I don't know that it originated there,
Well,
but the
that's what I
reality is that everybody falls back to the level of their training.
Yeah.
And so
do me a favor, because I interrupted you. Do the whole quote, because I broke you up there.
No, you're good. It says nobody rises to the occasion. Everybody falls back to the level of their training. And so, we have this beautiful picture in our mind that when it comes down to it, when I'm really needed most, that I'm going to step up and I'm going to do the big thing. And a lot of movies are centered around this ideal because it knows how, I'm just going to say this is not a direct attack at anybody, but it knows how weak the human mind is. And so movies don't center around reality; they center around audience. And most audiences have this fallacy in their mind that they're going to rise to the occasion one day, having been totally unprepared up to that point. But then they're going to rise up and do this great thing. And it's like, you're not going to do that. The reason movies do that is because there's so many idiots who believe that, and they're just trying to feed that which you already think. It's an echo chamber of your own belief system. That's why people who lean left watch CNN. People who lean right watch Fox. Why? Because it's an echo chamber of your own beliefs, and it makes you feel better.
Yep.
And so it's not true, though.
Yeah.
You're not going to rise to the occasion. If you don't shoot guns constantly and you don't have your rifles sighted in, and then, your house gets invaded by foreign armies, you're not going to save your family. It's just not going to happen. You are ill prepared for
You're
this
all
moment.
going down.
And
It's
so,
over.
it's so, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you watch the guy who pulls the rifle out that he hasn't held in 30 years, and it's still perfectly sighted in, and he's still got all these things going. It's like, brother, that is a fictitious movie. Settle down. And
really
we do this
love-
in our mind in all these different things, be it in our work, You know, we think that we're going to be the hero by working ourselves to death, but abandoning our family in the meantime. We do it in our marriages. That list, it's a laundry list of things that we devote all of our time into the wrong part of that resource and then expect that it's going to mystically produce something somewhere else, and it's just not going to.
Yeah. There's a quote that I saw on social media that I just thought, well, that actually, there's a lot on social media that is useless.
Trash.
Absolute trash. But the one thing that I did see that I thought, that's pretty good. It was like, you say you would die for your kids. Well, will you live for them? Will you live for them? Will you make hard choices in front of them? Will you practice healthy habits in front of them so that they can watch you? Because kids don't care what you say.
No.
Kids do not care what you say.
Not at all.
They will find the holes in your argument, your whatever you're doing. They'll find the loophole to go, yeah, they don't really mean that. But if you live it, there's nothing to argue. And it's so frustrating. You know, that's one of the things you're talking about, rise to the occasion. It's like, I'll die for my kids. Like, bro, you won't work out for your kids.
Yeah.
You're not falling on a grenade for your children. Like, you won't.
Yeah. You won't get to the
make
grenade.
basic decisions for your kids.
Yeah.
You're not going down in a knife fight. And by the way, how many of those come your way? You get that opportunity once.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice for your kids daily. And if you're not doing it daily, you ain't showing up to that knife fight.
No.
Period.
Yeah, there's no chance.
And that's what it was interesting that you said that, because that's been on my mind a lot, actually.
Jumping on a grenade.
Yep. Oh, side note. I really love watching war movies with Andrew, because every time the main character is holding a weapon, you can just look over at him and he's already looking at me going, like they're holding it wrong, recocking a gun.
What gets me is that they rack the slide every time they're trying to like intimidate somebody. They rack the slide, and I'm like, you are dumping out ammunition. Like,
yeah,
that is
and
no
bullet leaves the gun
keep
either.
re-racking the slide.
It's like you are pointing this thing at this guy, not ready to use it.
Or the flip hand. Okay, so the whole time you were pointing the gun, it was unloaded. So for the first 15 minutes when you had, barrel on the guy, you're telling me there was nothing in the chamber? You were just pointing for fun?
I'm telling you want to annoy Andrew,
man.
give him a war movie and just watch his face. You're welcome, Fresh Start, guys.
I do have issues when it comes to that.
I love that pet peeve. It's just fun to watch, because I don't know when it's happening, but I do know when it's happening when I look at you.
Yeah.
And I just turn now.
Well, fair enough.
It's a fun little side note.
Quick sponsor of the week, being that we're shooting in our house, Fabuloso, a Spanish cleaning product that keeps our house smelling phenomenal.
Does it?
I like it.
You got a favorite scent? Maybe a least favorite scent?
I don't know what they're called. I know them
The
by
purple one.
I'm not a big lavender fan. I do know that.
Oh,
yeah,
the
I know
name
that
there.
one. Yeah, so I used to. I told you know this. And
I do
so when
know
I was
that.
in college, I worked at a bar called the Pioneer Pub, and I was the person who I got there at 7 a.m. every morning, and I would clean from the night before, and we used lavender Fabuloso exclusively, and so that's just like seared into my nostrils as like not linked to a
Smells
negative.
like an era in life.
Yeah, that was not good to me. I say that I was not good to me in that era, and so that's just like anytime I smell that lavender Fabuloso, I'm just like, yeah, I made some bad choices.
Put the purple one down.
Yeah.
Put it down.
We got a.
Don't come for us,
I think it's
Fabuloso.
blue. I'm not great with colors.
Tropical
There's a blue
something.
one, and there's I think a red one.
Right.
I like those. Maybe a green too. Really, anything with the purple, I think I'm cool with as far as Fabuloso is concerned. Not a big fan of lemon scented things.
Yeah. It smells sick.
Yeah, that's not a big fan. So,
Or it reminds me of being
quick
sick.
get to know you segment question, and I feel like you may have just answered that question already,
Okay.
but I'm going to give you the opportunity if you want to. If there's something that just comes to mind, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say another one. We do get to know you segment questions all the time.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it take up quite a bit of time.
Yeah, we've
y'all
done-
talk about it and then end up doing the whole thing with the get to know you segment.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything kind of
happens.
just falls together.
It can. And so
Yeah.
the
ready.
people over the last few years have learned a lot about me.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you think that I haven't shared about me that people might find interesting? Good, bad, ugly, funny, goofy, whatever. Is there anything that comes to mind that you just think that maybe the viewer should be made privy to this knowledge? And if not, I do think that you had a fair answer with my pet peeve of movies that have guns in them. That
one is fair enough.
That is a major issue for
enough.
me. Yeah,
you do have.
I do.
You do have a when you're sick or when your sinuses start.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Andrew will take a piece of tissue off.
Oh, yes,
and just
true.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it hanging.
Have you ever seen She's the Man? There's a scene from She's the Man. I just realized I'm going to have to explain the whole plot of this movie to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's a girl who's pretending to be a boy at an all-boys school.
To play soccer.
And she sticks a tampon in her nose to plug a nosebleed. And she's rooming with a bunch of guys, and they find it like, what are these for? Yeah, they find tampons, and they're like, what's that for? She's like, oh, nosebleeds, and pops in her nose. And so that was when I discovered that is a feasible idea. And so I have horrible sinuses, so my nose will drain constantly. And so I will take a square of toilet paper and twist it up, and I will just stick it in my nose and
sleep with it.
Whatever has to happen.
I don't understand how
whatever helps
it
me
just
to
looks
survive.
So uncomfortable. But I
Not
guess
as
so
uncomfortable.
is drainage.
Yeah, not as uncomfortable and as sick as I will be if I allow that drainage to do what it wants to do. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I like it.
That was a good one.
I like it.
You don't have to answer about me though.
I'm not going to.
You don't ask that question to yourself, right?
I will. I will say, just because I don't want to say, I wouldn't want to embarrass you. You're not on the show enough for me to embarrass you. I wouldn't want to do that. But I will say that
I knew it.
Courtney,
he's bad to her.
I will say that Courtney, in her past, has had an unhealthy relationship with chicken strips and chicken nuggets.
Fair.
And so, there's. I was told, I wasn't present for, but I was told that that's almost all she ate exclusively for 80% of her childhood. And so
that's a really good one actually, because I regret being picky. Really bad.
Yeah, she'll eat just about anything now, but for like when we first met, you were still kind of
people would prepare for me to come, make special preparations for me to come to their house. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, yes.
Yeah, we made chicken
now
Alfredo, and Courtney, we have you some chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Chicken cheese spaghetti? Nope, doesn't count.
Yeah, no. If
Try
it's
again.
not in nugget or strip form, she wasn't interested. And so, no, I think that's something that's, but also, you've let that go. You've moved aside from that. And so a lot of people have those things in their life, and they just hold on to them forever, and they say, hey, this is my thing. I get to have my thing, and they're happy having their thing. And it's like, you don't have to have your thing.
Yeah.
You can let things go. You can grow. You can evolve. You should. And so I'm proud of you for moving beyond that. And
eating with family is really funny now, because when I say something like, oh, do you want, it happened yesterday, oh, you want onion on your burger? Nope. I was like, yes, actually I do, and we're all poking fun about it, but it's just funny for people to go, what?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm 33. I'm grown up.
Yeah. And we'll pretend that it was the passage of time and not a wonderful husband that changed you. And
the passage of time. Thank you, passage of time. And only passage of time.
Yeah. I had a very strict, if you don't eat what I cooked, you don't eat at all policy.
That was the thing.
No, I just made that up.
Say, I don't remember that face.
Yeah, no, I lied. That was a lie. One more opportunity here.
Okay.
And I think the people would like to know, and I'm curious as what you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that I struggle with that you'd be willing to let the people in on?
I think you've already let them in on it. But empathy. I think you've already talked about that, though.
I have.
Just briefly.
Lean into it a little.
I think it's because empathy seems feelings based. And so I don't think that you like to let yourself linger in that feeling thing, because it's just so slippery. It's slippery because you don't want to pity people, and it's like, you're like, oh man, that's really terrible. Hate that for you. But I think that the longer you let yourself pity someone, really the more tempting it is to let them slide.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so and I mean, that's fair. There's people I'm talking to right now that I just want to go, I'm sorry. But like, there's I heard this one time and I just thought it's so good. It was a pastor talking about, trying to counsel people, trying to be there for people. And he was talking about crying with people because, we are supposed to mourn with people. We aren't supposed to be like, that don't matter. Mm-hmm. Move on. Like we don't have to wipe it away and pretend it didn't happen. But he said, you're going to get about 30 seconds of genuine, heartfelt tears from me. And then after that, I'm going to start talking to you about your value. Mm-hmm. In the middle of your husband leaving you, in the middle of your wife leaving you, in the middle of a death in the family, in the middle of some of the craziest situations. And I've heard him tell stories over the years. It's like, it's wild that you would come in to a wife who has been just mistreated, husband bounced, and he's like, hey, look, let's forgive them right now. Like, most people will look at you like you're stupid. Like, how insensitive are you, you religious prick? Yeah. People don't take that well, but really in the moment, what you're trying to do is like, I'm trying to get you to see yourself, because those emotions are loud. Yeah. They have everything to say. It's assaulting, it's insulting, it's just degrading, it's all of the above. And you come in and say, forgive them, like they're the victim.
Sure.
And he was just saying, you're going to get a, man, this shouldn't be happening. But who would I be if I left you there? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the empathy struggle for you. If I've got the right definition of empathy.
No, sure. Yeah.
It's like, it's just a sticky slope, and it can turn really emotional really fast.
I would say that I probably got burned by empathy a few times.
Like personally, or
like showing empathy to other people.
Okay.
I would say
it turned out bad.
I would say I definitely got burned by empathy a few times because earlier on in my trying to help people stage, and I think that's where I don't have a vendetta against it. I know that it is good.
No, it sounds like you just weighed the result.
Yeah, I know that it's good and right and necessary. It's just like you said, it's hard for me to sit there because I guess here's the deal. There's given me a situation, I will feel empathy towards whatever you're telling me. Mm. But when you continue to lean into it over and over and over again, I can't continue to have empathy towards it because, one, you're allowing yourself to stay in a place if you just keep leaning back into whatever happened. And two, and this is the part that I guess gets a little tricky, is that I only know what happened when you tell me. I don't know why it happened. Mm-hmm. All I know is why you told me it happened, but I don't know why it actually happened. And so,
are you talking about like selectively omitting?
Yes, people selectively omit a lot of information from their stories, and they'll tell me about how they were, something happened to them or these things happened to them, but they don't tell me that they were the catalyst in the whole situation.
Right. And they just tell you how somebody imploded. And
so then you in your mind build a whole case, of sorrow towards them, and then
and the whole time you're a sucker.
A bit of anger towards other people, and then you find out later that they lied to you. You were being manipulated and used. Yep. You were a means to an end. And so I have just found it safer. And I'm a statistics guy, and a lot of people don't know that about me. You could definitely validate the fact that my whole life is statistically calculated. But
I can validate that.
Yeah. And so I have just found it is safer for me statistically to err on the side of less empathetic than more empathetic. Mm-hmm. Because the more empathetic I lean, the more open to being manipulated I am.
Fair.
And so
that's fair.
That's more why I shell back this way. And to my own admission, I definitely pull way too far back. And and that's a gap that I'm constantly trying to close.
Well, nobody wants to be a sucker.
Sure.
I've been one.
Sure.
Somebody tells me something, I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like this whole saga, and then come to find out, like, you did a thing.
Yeah.
And someone responded, and that's all you told me. It's that's not.
There was a time a while back where Courtney and I ended up counseling opposite parties in a situation. And, you know, Courtney was coming back in it, that everybody was privileged to the fact that we all know about the situation. Everybody was privileged to the fact that one party was talking to Courtney and one party was talking to me. So this was all out in the open. So for that reason, Courtney and I were able to discuss it. And she was very like, I can't believe all this is happening. And I'm like,
hang tight.
just take a breath here. You know,
I'm looking at Andrew like, are you saved?
Yeah.
Do you have any love in your heart?
Yeah, and she was very upset with
so
me
mad
because I wouldn't just outright condemn the situation, and I was just like, I would pause. I venture to guess that there are some things we don't know yet, and as the situation fast forwards, we see everything just unravel, and it turns out that the situation leaned way more towards the party who was talking to me being truthful. Not that either party was correct in how they were handling it, but one was definitely being more honest than the other one was. And so it just happens. And it wasn't any fault of yours. No. And it just because that situation played out that way doesn't mean everybody should be like me. Because there are other situations where I play things way too close to the chest, and I probably could have helped people more than I did because I refused to dive into the trenches of where they're struggling with them right away. And so it's a hard line, it's a hard balance, and I think this is another reason why God calls a multitude of people, you know. And so it's like there are people who are skilled and gifted with empathy, and then there are people who see things very logically and statistically, and you need both of those people to work together as one body to make educated decisions. And
on that note, I just have been considering this as a whole, as Christians as a whole. We all have to have the same goal. We've talked about this with like parenting. You know, if you say no, I say no. If I say yes, you say yes. You know, and if we ever disagree on things, it's never something we hash out in front of the kids. But what you end up having is when one parent is always saying yes and the other parent is always saying no, you'll see the kid, when it's something they really want, they're going to the parent who says yes. Yeah. And so in the Christian world, there are so many, y'all talked a little bit about this last week, but there are just so many different approaches to how things get done, how you handle people. And I think that we have to have one primary goal, and that's Christ-likeness. If our goal in everything is pushing them towards being more Christ-like, if that's everybody's goal, then we don't have to call what so-and-so did good. Yeah. But you are held accountable to forgive them.
I agree.
That's not something that you can say, I love Jesus, and skip. That's not something that you can be in process over. If you're, I heard this saying, and I thought it was so good. If you're trying to forgive, you're in unforgiveness. Yeah. There's no blurry in between. You either do or you don't. Yep. And when you're pushing people towards being Christ-like.
Shout out to Yoda.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay.
People who know will know.
I was going to say, I'm clueless. That whoop.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, okay. Now I'm in.
You're welcome.
Now I get it. Now I'm there. But it's just like, you know, you see the same thing in the Christian world, though, where you have the more, oh, honey. And, you know, they're not changed.
Yeah, and then
you got people like avoiding me.
Then you got people like me telling you need to push them into the mud.
I'm telling you the hardcore truth. And now it's like, don't talk to them. Yeah. You're gonna feel like crap when you leave. It's like, well, that's probably true. I wouldn't say that's unlikely, but it's like, you know, I had a conversation recently, and you know, it's one of those things where I was like, it just over time, I didn't know if I'd ever talk to the person again. Had no idea. But when we started talking again, one of the things that came up was like, I knew you'd tell me the truth. And it was like,
yeah. And this was after,
I didn't see that coming.
This was about how long of no contact between the last council and when they came back around?
I mean, like consistent conversation would probably be like a year or more, where I wasn't really sure, like, okay, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that I'll ever hear from them again.
I wanted you to say it because I know that there are some people out there who are in the midst of that gap right now, who are losing hope because they stood strong on a principle.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we had a youth night and you gave a challenge to the kids. It was just really cool because you were like, hey, you know, I want you to think about somebody who's not in church, but you want them to be, and you know they need to be. And the person flashed through my mind, and I had like half a hope and half a doubt. I was like, oh, that'd be cool, Lord. But, you know. And then the next morning I had a text message.
Yep.
I mean, it was wild.
Yep.
Just wild.
Yep.
And it was the Lord. That's a really great lesson to like keep praying, keep pressing in. When you're seeking something that's for the good of His kingdom and for the good of people, just keep pressing in. It doesn't always play out right away.
Yep.
And that's okay.
And God is supernatural, man. He does supernatural things. We always want to attribute Him to doing natural things better than we do them. He doesn't do natural things better than we do them. He does things that defy all logic and reason. And so there's never a logical reason to give up on a kingdom building quest, because God doesn't have to apply the laws of nature to accomplish it. He will move everything to accomplish the things that He wants to accomplish. So don't let go.
I will say this too, on the note of counseling in general, because you can get so wrapped up in what's going on with other people that now you're and I did this with you, you know, my conversations with you would become about, what do I do about this? What do I do about this? And even with things that weren't counseling, it was just like life situations, circumstances, sticky relationships. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And that became all of our conversation for a period in time.
I remember.
And it wasn't like we weren't trying to do good things.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But it just created like this kind of turmoil-ish feel. It's like if we're going to talk, it's highly likely there's a problem going to be discussed.
Well, it
was like it wasn't peaceful.
It wasn't. I definitely,
to a degree.
I definitely understand what you're saying. I would say, rather than what you're saying, I would say that a lot of times for men specifically, family is a reprieve from labor.
Yep.
And my labor involves doing what I was having to do with you as well. And so what it put my mind in was a state of continual labor. And
I'm not mad at him for.
Sure.
But don't come for him, because I'm not mad at that. Because I could hear people right now. What? Yeah. You think your relationship with labor? Like, no.
Yeah.
I understand. Because it's like, I love being a mom. It's demanding.
Sure. Very.
And everybody needs a break at some point.
I can currently hear our 1-year-old yelling
hey!
in the background.
Yeah.
All of our kids are here, by the way. We instructed them to stay in the back room. We weren't sure whether or not they would, but they have.
They're done good
so far.
But anyway, I just don't want anybody to be like, oh, you think this is like, no.
Yeah.
It was fair, because it wasn't almost. It was every conversation.
Sure, and I'd be fine if people were upset. It doesn't bother me.
I know you're fine, but I'm giving context to the situation.
I appreciate that.
You know,
I do appreciate that. But no, it's it wasn't anything. You know, men, like, we were made to provide for our families, and so, you know, labor is a big part of our job. And so when you do get to come home and to be with the family, to be able for that to be a reprieve, that doesn't mean there's no work to do at home, but just for the family to be a reprieve from what you were having to do is a really great thing. It's one of the great things the family brings to the table for a man, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's been something that's been extremely beneficial to me, and so that's the only thing that made that challenging. It wasn't that it felt like turmoil between you and I from my perspective.
Yeah, no.
But it definitely felt like I'm still working, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'm gonna go right back to work. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, it was like, okay, all of our connection is coming from problems-based things.
For sure.
Which, even though they weren't our problems most of the time,
sure,
I did feel was unhealthy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It was like, this just feels like I'm, always trying to, when you want to fix something and you just can't get in there and just do it yourself.
Yeah.
You're waiting on other people to line some things out so that you can go, whew.
Yeah.
Done. All right, next problem. And that's just kind of what it turned into. But I would just encourage anybody who's trying to counsel to, one, don't let it become your home life.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Take a breath and recognize that the Lord's hearing you when you pray. You speak the truth in love. I don't believe that if we speak the truth in love, that's going to sow nothing.
I agree.
I believe that whether anybody ever comes back and says, hey, you said this and it really meant something to me, or not, you did, and it mattered. and it's noted, and you don't need anybody else to come back and say thank you. You didn't say it for you. You know, but I would just caution people to not let that become life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that because you weren't constantly talking about it, trying to fix it, trying to figure out what can you do, that you gave up on the situation or that you were inattentive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, for sure.
I know that makes sense to me, but I want to make sure it's coming out right.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And I would also caution people, you can do the same thing with the Lord. Lord, what do I say? What do I say? It's like, you can't go to the Lord. If you're not going to the Lord to get to know him and to become more Christ-like yourself, it doesn't matter what you say to that person. You know, I'm not saying that it's not like useful to them, but I am saying if you're not seeking the Lord for yourself, for his face, not his answers, then you can have a very problems-based relationship with the Lord where all of a sudden the problems are, fix this, Lord, fix this, Lord, fix this, Lord, fix this, Lord. And you're waiting and waiting on answers. You're waiting and waiting on answers, and they're not coming yet. And so you're always feeling discombobulated.
Yeah.
Instead of being overwhelmed with faith and taking faith to the situation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Come see, baby.
I know we got screams in the middle of that point, but it's a good one.
Oh, what you doing? So if you were going to give just a piece of marriage advice specifically to women,
Oh,
what would you say?
specifically just to women.
Just to women.
Can I think for a second?
Sure.
I want to feel some of your space.
Sure. While you're thinking, I'll say this. When she says Christ-like, she means exactly as he was. She does not mean Christ-similar, possessing some of his characteristics, but not all.
Right.
When we are pointing people towards Christ-likeness, our expectation is that they are exactly as he was. Exactly as he was. And so that's a big thing that I want everybody to understand. I'm not interested in your Christ-similar behavior. I want you to be exactly who he was. If it's in his character, it needs to be in yours. If it's not in his character, you need to let it go. And just like with the empathy thing with me, I believe that Christ had more empathy than I have. And so I'm not satisfied with where I am. I'm constantly pressing. I'm constantly trying to grow and get more and more and more in tune with who he is.
Yeah.
Why is your shirt on backwards?
I did that. Oops.
Mama did
Mama
that.
did that.
Do you want to say hello to the camera?
It's falling off the edge there.
Yeah, she'll be okay. Marriage advice specifically to women.
God does not subcontract us as an extra voice to the Holy Spirit. What I mean by that is you're not, I'll put it from my perspective. I used to think that my job was to find the ways that you weren't Christ-like or what I thought wasn't Christ-like, point them out to you and make sure you saw them so that you could do something about it.
Talking about me as a husband?
Just as a husband in general.
Yeah.
You know, I knew what I thought.
Saying you were trying to be the Holy Spirit for.
Well,
like
I mean,
voice
it sounds so cliche because people talk about that all the time, or I've heard it talked about several times.
I've not heard of it.
Well, people talk about, you know, you're not your husband's Holy Spirit. You know, it's not. And that's.
Did you get to the door?
I don't know how he would have gotten to the door, but he's the only one I would think that would slam against the door. Like, did he slide the pack and play to the door? I know he can slide it.
I guess he did.
He does know how to run from one end of the pack and play to the other to make it move.
So, I think that
I learned that at cross camp.
I think our 1-year-old has rammed himself in his pack and play up against the door. Now he's mad because Isla came out of the room and he wants to come out too.
Aria is in there, though. I think
Yeah.
if she is we have a problem.
Yeah.
If we had a problem, I feel like she would have said something.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he's fine. I think he's just mad because she got out and he didn't.
That sounds like a very Maddie boy issue.
Yeah. Anyways.
But I
don't hear that a lot. You say you hear that a lot. I've not.
I think
heard
it's
that
in
much.
women's circles. I don't think it's. I mean, it's like women's conference type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard it said before, but I've heard women listen and we tend to go, You hear that? You hear what he said? We should be empathetic. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know,
That sounds
or
like fun.
you know, you're listening to a sermon and then somebody says something and you're like,
Oh, the
you.
old nudge. Yeah.
yeah, the nudge. You know, it's little things, and I think that's where we start to get naggy. And now it's like, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
I always do.
I don't think men feel encouraged to be Christ-like because I pointed out something I don't like about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more like, I'm trying really hard. That's like one of the few things that I feel like I'm really botching, but...
Well, men tend to not work on multiple things at once.
I don't feel like we can not think about more than...
Yeah, and so it's like, if we're working on something in and of ourselves, it's going to be one thing at a time. And we're not going to move on and start working on other things until we've succeeded in the thing that we're doing. Mm-hmm. I won't speak for all men. I will say that's definitely how I am. Mm-hmm. I would say that's probably more common than not with men. But it's like, if I'm working on my empathy and you're trying to get
empathy
me to,
has the attention.
yeah, and so like when you start bringing up things other than empathy, knowing that I'm working on my empathy, it becomes very overwhelming in my mind. It's like, well, she's got a problem with everything. And so if she's got a problem with everything, why work on anything?
Are you familiar with the term nitpicking?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we end up doing. We end up looking for all the, where are the problems? And in doing that, you become one of them. It's very backwards because you think that you're helping the situation, but really what you did was just assure to your spouse, don't bring me anything because all I'm going to do is go, could have told you that.
Yeah.
How many times have I told you that? And that never goes well. It just never does. And so I think that, and I don't have the answer as far as like, you know, when you see things going on, you know, where you feel like, hey, this could probably be better. It probably needs to be better, should be better. This isn't Christ-like. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know that you say nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know that you say nothing. But I don't know that you... To me, the difference in bringing things up is if you bring it up for you to be better, for you to benefit from a better marriage, you lost. Mm. And it sounds so spiritual. A better marriage, more Christ-like marriage is what I was after. But really, you just kind of put a stumbling block in the way right there.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about showing patience with one another in the situation because in a perfect world, and if someone's walking in perfect obedience, everything can be changed immediately. Mm-hmm. But if someone is not perfect,
right,
which, you know, there are areas that I'm far more excellent in than others. Mm-hmm. You know, if someone is not perfect in an area, not excellent in an area, it may take them a little bit of time. And so take a breath, give them some space to grow a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let them suffer through a little bit of failure so that they can learn and regroup and adapt.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we want them to change, but we don't want to give them any space to change. Mm-hmm. We don't want to give them any time to adapt. We don't want to give them any time to learn anything. You know, we just want them to understand what's in our mind. Well, you know, there are some things that you are better at than I am. You have a different mental understanding of them. And so if you try to just tell me to do the things that you do in those areas, I can't. As much as I'd like to, I don't have your level of understanding.
There's no frame of reference.
And the flip side of that is the same way. You know, we had a conversation the other night about how systematic I am about everything. My mind works in systems. Yours doesn't. So for me to try to force you into systematic behavior, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. It's just not.
One of us is going to be frustrated.
Yeah, both. Because I'm going to be frustrated you're not doing it, and you're going to be frustrated that I expect you to.
Yeah.
And so everyone loses here. Yeah. And so, you know, taking a breath, being patient with each other, understanding, you know, continuing to see people through the lens of God, through the eyes of the Lord, and not through the eyes of how they're performing at the time is critical.
That's the perfect word right there. Because... what's the scripture? It says, I wish I knew the addresses better, but it says, you know, we're not supposed to look at each other.
There's a lot of scriptures. It'd be hard to know them all.
Yeah.
Me and like 3 other guys know all of them.
You should be more empathetic towards me that I don't know them. I love it.
Shout out Big Bang Theory fans.
Yeah. But so many people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's weird."
Yeah,
I can never tune in again. I can never take him serious.
It's fine.
What were we talking about?
Jesus. Scriptures you don't know.
The scriptures I don't know. There was a point. There was a good one coming. Oh, it was talking about not seeing people according to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And like not looking at people. And look, people can be doing stuff like some shady junk right in front of you. But I feel like as a Christian, I think one of the reasons that we stop having hope for that situation to get better is because we don't think it's going to happen immediately.
Yeah.
And all you see is what's happening right in front of you, what they're doing right now, what they're doing right now. It's like, if Jesus looked at us, if God looked at us and just saw what we were doing, how we were, who we were, he would just be like, ugh. I don't know. I've said everything. I've done everything. Yeah. I mean, I even died, healed sick, raised the dead. I mean, I don't know what they want from me.
Yeah,
there's no making them happy.
Said that he finally got so frustrated that he sent his son.
Yeah, it's finally. I just got so mad about it. We're at wit's end. That's it. I'm sending him. He's coming. Yeah. Well, like it or not, he's going.
That's not what happened, by the way, just in case anyone doesn't understand.
But I mean, being able to see that God has a purpose for people, and if the Holy Spirit was living in there, if they had communion with the Lord himself, 1 John says it clean and clear. If you're in communion with the Lord, you cannot keep walking in. Well, you probably won't. You'll stumble and fall every now and then, and, maybe you have some struggles. It says you can't. You can't keep walking in darkness.
That's right.
And if you're doing dark things, you're not in communion, and you're lying. You're lying and saying that you are. And you can't say with your mouth, this is what I am, this is who I am, and I have a relationship with God, and then live otherwise. You just can't.
Okay, you can go in our room.
Love you.
That's the one that was sick this morning.
Yeah.
So, having a slow day with that one.
I'll come snuggle you. I will.
Yep.
That is her tail when she doesn't feel good.
Yep.
Will you hold me?
Yeah.
Will you snuggle me?
Yeah, she did that the other day. That was like 2 or 3 days ago when I told you that she had sat in the chair. You had asked if I was coming outside, and I said, nah, I just asked if I would hold her.
Yeah.
No.
This is not normal.
All right, one more question. We'll call it a day. I appreciate y'all's patience with us navigating the children and such. It's we don't cut anything here, and it's for a good reason. And so, last question, a piece of marriage advice for men from the perspective of a wife. What's something, from your perspective that you think that, it could be about marriage itself. It can be about maybe what men should look for in a spouse, or some things that, you think that they definitely need to do early on that could help them in their marriage.
So I think the first thing that comes to mind is to listen for the heart of what she's saying. Because I'm just going to offend some women, I guess. I don't know. There's really no other way to say it.
Okay.
We talk a
You're
lot.
You're going to tell them they can't drive?
No.
Vote? Win a presidential election? I'm out then. What are you going to say?
Well,
if
made them more mad than I.
If they're not offended,
I don't know. This might be worse because there's not many women running for president. But I'm probably talking about a lot of women.
100% of them have lost.
Oh God. Anyway, help me. We tend to talk a lot and we get emotional when we talk. Men say what they mean, and they say it verbatim, exactly how they meant it. Mm-hmm. Very literal. Women, sometimes we find out more about what we're thinking and feeling as we talk it out. So it's like when we start talking, we don't really know exactly the point that we want to make. There is a point.
Golly, I wish y'all just wouldn't.
There's a heart that's in there that they want to get out, but they don't really have the specific words to articulate what they're saying.
Can I ask you a real question regarding this?
Yes.
It's not a personal question.
Okay.
Do y'all ever realize that you're wrong the longer you go? Do you ever start somewhere feeling like you had a point, and as you go on further, you're like, I think
this is about to end
I
bad.
think so.
Yeah.
I have noticed that in women in general, but here's the problem: they don't fold their hand.
They pull a U, double down, baby. You
gotta
go.
Yeah, you gotta
Floor
lay it all out there.
Now's my chance. If I lose this one, I lose everyone after this.
When she says they pull a me, that is a pre-Christ version of me that I was sharing with the First Face guys the other day that we were discussing. I was telling them when you get caught manipulating, you get caught in a lie.
Was that not on a cartel? I thought that was on a cartel.
No, that was just in one of the groups.
That was just...
I may have talked about it on the cartel. That all runs together for me now.
I don't know.
But I was telling them, when you get caught in the middle of a manipulation, you got one or two choices: either take ownership of it or double down.
Floor it.
And I was the guy who would double down, make the lie even worse.
I would just say, like, back to the core of it, there is a heart behind what women are trying to say, and they don't necessarily pick the best words, and sometimes it looks like picking a fight. Mm-hmm. There were things that, when they just, no context for what I've been thinking, feeling, trying to go through in my mind, and when all of a sudden, now it's time to bring all this to the table, and now I need to communicate this. Mm. When it just comes out without all of that context, it sounds like it's fight time.
Yeah.
It's go time. It sounds like we're trying to back you into a corner on something and just, pretty much berate you about something.
Sure.
And when we're saying things like, that we're upset about something, how the way something has been going or whatever, what they're really saying is that I feel disconnected from you when these things happen. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the way that feels. And I would very much like to adjust that so that I don't feel like I'm slipping away from you. Mm. And we just don't come out and say that. I don't know why. I don't know that we recognize that when we come into the conversation feeling like, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? Or you choose the wrong wording. And I feel like, anytime that I go into a conversation with anything like that in mind, it more comes across as, so you made me mad. Mm-hmm. And here's why.
Yeah.
And that is not the full of it. That's not the full context of what's going on. But it is what came across. That's all I gave you.
Yeah.
So for a man, I would say just listen for a second. Try not to get defensive. Try not to get upset with what she's saying. And listen for, why is she saying this to me? Mm-hmm. Why is it?
Because she's crazy.
Maybe she really is mad. Maybe she really is trying to hurt you. But before you decide that, listen first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Everybody's not good at communication.
The only caveat I would put in there is that I think that that's true. Everything that you're saying is true, mm-hmm. as it pertains to you and other good Christian women. I don't know that that's true as it pertains to.
Probably. I'm not saying it applies to everyone.
What I mean? I think that there are definitely some people who are just cutthroat for the sake of it. Which is where I want to highlight the importance of choosing the correct woman. Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself in a relationship with a woman who will come for your jugular just because.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know better. Yeah. And so, but no, I definitely see what you're saying. I think there's a lot of validity to that, and to letting them kind of have both sides of the conversation and just
mm-hmm.
try to hear it.
I would ask more questions
before you respond.
Yeah.
Be very, very slow to respond in those situations. My advice on both sides of it, one, as a man, specifically to women pertaining to marriage and relationships, I would say women have disciplined habits. Create disciplined habits for yourself. Here's why. Your word will go further with your husband when you live a disciplined lifestyle.
Yep.
When your lifestyle is wholly undisciplined, and then you have something you want to say to alter the way that he lives or behaves, it doesn't carry a whole lot of backbone.
Right.
If you're just very nonchalant and don't take care of the things that you're supposed to take care of the way that they're supposed to be taken care of. And so it will benefit you not only in your health, not only in your mental state, not only in the functionality of your home, not only in the workplace if you're someone who works, but with your validity of your word with your spouse will be 10x if you will take care of those things. My marriage advice for men, and this is the most solid advice I could give you: lead your home.
Yep.
Lead your home. Don't let your wife lead your home. You were created to do it. You were created to sacrifice and love your wife regardless of her performance. Lead your home. Mm-hmm. It's not their calling. It doesn't mean that they aren't wonderful. It's just not what God created them to do within the context of marriage. And when that power shift happens in a home, and it's really not even about power, but you understand when that dynamic shifts within a home,
it's an authority.
I have seen that tear so many families apart. And
the woman gets ticked that she's leading, first of all,
and this is the part that makes it confusing, is that a lot of times the women act like they want to be in control, but then the reality is that they actually have lost respect for the husband because he let her. And so it's a weird thing where they're making it seem like they want the power, but really they're almost disgusted that they have walked over you.
You weakling.
Yeah, it's
I can't believe you let me do this.
Yeah, and that is very specifically named in the results of the fall.
Yeah.
And so this is something that the Lord basically allowed us to know was going to be an issue. And so the question is whether or not we're going to do anything to take it back.
Yeah. I want to briefly touch to that, because when you say lead your home, briefly, because I know we're going to be either close or over.
Yep.
When you say lead your home, that does not mean come home and decree to your wife, you're done with this. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody wants a dictator in the house.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't love your wife well, she's not going to let you lead well.
That's true.
Because she's not going to trust that what you're doing is for her benefit. She's going to think, well, he just wants me to do this so that he can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Really good point.
And if you're not loving your wife well, and if you're not speaking with tenderness towards your wife, when you start trying to, I want to say this word loosely, assert yourself as that authority, she's going to go, gut check. Not from you, sir.
Yeah.
And if things have been going bad, I can't say that the question to go would be unwarranted.
Yeah.
Now, as a Christian, I would say, look, when he's trying to lead, you got to let him run. Mm-hmm. You got to let him run. And when if he succeeds, we all succeed. Yay. And if he fails, you were compliant to the best of your ability. And then he's got to reevaluate him, Yep. But I would just say, love your wife well if you're going to lead her well. Because as soon as you step in, if you're not loving her well, you ain't got a shot.
I completely agree. And that's why I added that emphasis on the sacrificing regardless of performance. Because if you're only willing to love well and sacrifice well when she's doing what you expect, you're coming up short of the standard. Because the standard was Christ, who sacrificed for us, even for those who may never choose him. He sacrificed anyways. And so that's the calling. And so that's all for me. You got anything else you want to tag on there?
Sacrifice without complaining about having to sacrifice. So if you go now, I can't believe I got to do this. I did all this, and this, and this. Yeah. So it's not I sacrificed for you. I can't believe, just be careful not to take what either of us are saying and wield it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful. Do it out of a genuine heart.
I've seen that happen a few times.
It always goes bad.
It does.
House up in smoke.
Yep. Praise God. You good?
Yep. Got it.
Yeah, we good.
Bye.